I did a post on window and glass safety the other day, and today I wanted to do a quick video post on the aesthetics of the windows to maybe help you make your windows look a little bit better, because that is something that is quite a challenge here in Medellin. So what I'll do first is I'll show you an example of what they typically look like, and then I'll show you an example of what they should look like, and then I'll give you a couple tips on how to make your windows look better. So this is what they normally look like here, and I'm sure you guys, if you've been in Colombia for any amount of time, recognize this. It's where you've got in this case, a sliding glass door frame that goes right up against a wall. But you'd also find this when anything meets the wall, whether it's a tile, whether it's a vinyl plank. Whenever anything meets a wall here, you're going to get this edge, because the way they finish things here is they take this stucco, or I think they call it a masilla, and they bring it all, but they take it by hand with a trowel, and they bring it all the way over to this edge, and they try to tape this, and then go to the tape and then pull off the tape, but it bleeds over. It's not that the workmanship is that bad, it's that the material that they use is just, it turns into this kind of like a chalk dust, and no matter how skilled you are, you just can't make it look good. And that's why you just see it wherever you go into any type of building here, you're gonna notice that. So what it should look like is right here, and you can see this window frame. If we go all the way down, it's nice and even and level. There's no chalk dust on it. There's nothing. It's just nice and a nice clean finish. And the reason is because when we took out this window, we went in and made this the inside edge here that you can't see, the edge that would be right here where my finger is. We made that perfectly flat and perfectly level all the way around the entire window. Then we put in the window, and then we just caulked that seam. And this is paintable caulk, so you can caulk it the same color as this window frame. That's what gives you that nice, clean, finished look. Now let me go upstairs and I'll give you an example of what this looks like mid-process. So if you want to do this, or you want to replace some windows in your apartment, that you'll know not just what to do, but you'll know what to look for in the entire process to make sure they're doing it correctly. This is what the edge would look like when they tear off the window. It's very uneven. You're just ripping that frame right off of the concrete or the brick. So you can see here, very unfinished. And what they'll do is they'll take that window frame or sliding glass door frame, and they will put it right up against this uneven edge, and then they'll screw it in and glue it, and then they'll take the stucco and they'll, with a trowel, and they'll bring it over right to that edge, and they'll fill that gap with that stucco. And that's the problem. Where what they should do, like I showed you downstairs, is they should do this first. So this was an old sliding glass door here. We ripped it off. It had that same bad unfinished edge that I just showed you. But instead of putting the window right on top of that, we came in and I had them put concrete here, perfectly level, perfectly flat, all the way up and down. And they'll take that masilla, that stucco, they'll go over this, so we'll have a perfectly finished edge, and then we'll put the window frame on, and then we'll caulk it just like I showed you downstairs. Another area, this is the master bathroom here, and I'll show you what I did is I obviously demoed this wall, and I put in a glass wall, kind of like a hotel. And I did that just because if you go out here, we've got quite a big terrace. which you can see, and it's got a pretty good view. And so we're going to have windows that go all the way from the floor up to the ceiling. So I wanted to take advantage of that view, whether you were in the shower, which is right there, or whether you're kind of soaking in the tub. So we put this glass wall here. Now in doing so, you can see right here that I had to have them come in and make this absolutely perfect. This had to be not just level, but perfectly flat, because there's going to be a gap, a small gap in here in the glass. And if this would have been off at all, whether you were sitting here, standing here in the shower, whatever, you can just barely see that gap right there. That would have been uneven. It might have been flush up here, the gap, you might have seen a gap here. It might have went back to flush down here where it goes on top of the rock. That would not have looked good at all. And the secret, again, was to get this absolutely perfect before they put in the glass. And that's the secret of getting those windows right. Now, a tip for those of you who are not replacing your windows and just might want to make them look a little bit better is you can go around the frames of the window with a quarter round trim. And let me give you an example of that really quick here. So these are windows right here that we're replacing. This is obviously a two-story condo, so it goes from the bottom level all the way to the top. We're replacing those frames. And you can see, again, how they've got that chalk dust stucco stuff here. And if I wasn't replacing these frames, what you could do is you could just take a piece of quarter round trim and just put that quarter round all the way around your frame, and then just caulk the edge right here, and you'd get a much more finished look, because it would hide that crease where this chalk dust stuff accumulates. You can see it over here as well. And I'm sure whenever you, or if you think back, whenever you see a window or a sliding glass door here in Medellin or Colombia, you always see that. It's never a nice straight line. So let me show you some quarter round really quick. This is the kitchen, and we had this this mosaic backsplash that you can see here that goes behind the hood, and that went up to, or goes up to the ceiling, and you had a very unfinished edge there as well, a lot like what I just showed you. And so I put quarter round to hide that edge, and we also had a gap between the hood and where the drywall ceiling was, and so that quarter round hid that gap nicely as well. And this, we painted the same color as the cabinets. We might actually repaint it a white so it blends in a little bit more. But that gives you an example of what you could do around the corner of those windows to make them look a lot better if you're not replacing them. And let me try to give you a close-up of that quarter round. You can see it right here. So this is your normal base trim. And then this is a quarter round trim that we use a lot in the States. They almost never use it here, but we use it a lot back there to give it that nice finished look that you can see here. All the way down. So just in summary, if you're not replacing your windows, you can take just this part, just this quarter round that you see here, and put that around the edges of your windows, around the edges of the frames, and then caulk it, and that could give you a nice, or a much better look. Or what you can do, if you're replacing the windows, is when they pull out the window, make sure that they finish that to where it's nice, smooth, perfect, level, flat, before they put in the window, and then caulk this in. Hopefully that's